county attorney. I believe that this investigation is still occurring. We have a representative from the department who's here. David? David?
Yes.
We're talking about the food stamp issue, number 4 on the agenda. And it is my understanding that the investigation is proceeding.
That's correct. It's still in the hands of the district attorney. And
I don't think it is prudent to add work to your workload before we have a determination of what happened, what the outcome of the investigation is, and a comment from the county attorney's office. I also want to state for the record that there was a newspaper article that was reported this matter. It was fairly riddled with inaccuracies, including the fact that this is not at all, of course, county money that we're talking about. It was quoted by the sponsor that this equaled a third of our last year's budget deficit, when in fact not 1 penny of this is county money. I realize it's taxpayer money, but it is not county taxpayer money. I think that the fact that the department, after attending a welfare fraud symposium a year earlier, learned how to go about looking for ways to find and uncover this type of fraud, should be commended, because you acted, you caught them, and now you're prosecuting them. I think we may have something to learn when this is all said and done, but I think this resolution is way premature. I think it's typical of what we get from the other side when it comes to programs that benefit the poor, and this is just a typical shot at an important program and the good work that you guys do every day on behalf of the taxpayers and the people that you serve. I will add by saying that the culprits in this case appear to be the convenience stores, the vendors, not so much the recipients. Because for a recipient to steal $6 million worth of food stamps, that's pretty tough. It meant it happened only because there was a provider out in the community willing to rip off the county to the tune of $6 million. And the victims were the children and recipients who were being, ripped off by the vendors. And that is what I think we ought to emphasize here. The people who were putting the money in their pocket were the vendors. And that never, of course, comes out. It's a lot easier to pick on the poor, the people who have to depend on these programs to get by every day. And by the way, many of the recipients of food stamps are not unemployed or, shall we say, on welfare. Many are working families, working 2 jobs or more at minimum wage, trying to make ends meet. They're working every day to try to make ends meet. And last, the utilization of the food stamp program in New York State and around the country is very low when you look at the whole. So many people who are eligible do not participate for whatever reasons. Maybe because they don't want to be stigmatized by certain people. So I would ask that we reject this motion to move it out of the committee and send these kind of punitive, punitive messages where they belong.
Madam Chairman, I demand, this is ridiculous then. I called the commissioner, I've been talking to the commissioner about these problems for years. I called the commissioner to commend the department on their hard work.
It didn't sound like that in the
Yes,
newspaper.
that's not true. I did say that. And as far as the analogy to the amount of money, I made it very clear that this was USDA money, not county funds, but it didn't matter, it was still taxpayers, and it was 6.1 million that did not go into the Valley's
You
aid.
were quoted as saying it's a
Yes, as
third
an
of the
analogy,
budget.
I did not say,
Well,
look, I'm not gonna argue with you, okay, because you like to spin things. But to sit there and accuse us of not wanting children and families to be taken care of. This resolution does not speak to this investigation. I am not trying to get behind that or anything. I am asking the commissioner to tell us what he needs so his good people can do their job productively, so that we can detect fraud. And I take offense at you saying that we don't care about families. I care very much about families. And this is money that didn't go into it. And the people that went into those stores and sold their card for cash, it was used fraudulently on both sides by the owners and that. I want this to go out to the floor. And I don't see any harm in asking the commissioner, what tools do you need from us to do a better job?
I think that right now, all right,
Am I considered,
go ahead.
oh, I can say something?
I
was just
didn't
wondering.
see- I'm sorry, I didn't see
she
it.
didn't see it,
I
Gail. She
couldn't
was-
see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Concentrating on others.
Oh, okay, I don't blame you, you should concentrate on the
I was looking at
great
that.
discussion we just had. But fortunately, I think I'm fortunate because I didn't read the articles. So I don't know what it's all about. Maybe shame on me because I'm a legislator. But besides that, everything Tim said is good, and everything she said is good, but what's wrong with our department having some type of system to work with the county and DA to see what's going on? I don't see what you talked about. I don't see that here. And I don't see what she's saying. That's so offensive.
Okay.
And that's what I'm not criticizing our department, by no means. I think it's a good idea if we have our county agency have some kind of program to look at, so we don't have this fraud stuff happen.
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about, something like that? Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
All right, I'm gonna let Tim respond, and then I'm gonna go with Bill, and then I'm gonna go with Sandy, and then I'm going to.
I was referring, Patty, to other resolutions that you've brought forth that tend to be very punitive in nature, okay? You may
People that
don't see it
fraud.
that way, but that's the way I interpret it. And the idea that you're only asking the question, then just ask. Call them up, write them a letter and say, you know what, why don't you guys do us a favor and give us a plan?
'Cause I think
We
should
don't need
stand
to have a
behind it.
resolution to make that request.
I
And to
think we
make,
should stand behind the department in their efforts, that's why.
I don't see the department pounding on our doors asking us for help here. I think what they want is to continue the investigation, and then when we understand what exactly happened and how that might be helpful, maybe they can come back and ask us for help with their budget or whatever that they need to add to welfare fraud investigators or what have you, or a computer program or whatever they think they need. But I don't see him asking that. I don't think Vince Colano last month was asking that. That's all I'm saying, Bill. I don't think anybody from the department is making this request.
Well, maybe they should.
Okay, wait.
Well, maybe they should, and maybe
Okay,
they
stop.
will,
Bill,
Gil,
Bill,
but let's get the facts of the situation
Well, I
before
mean,
we ask them to
you
do
just read the
something.
thing, it speaks for itself. Let's look into it.
We're gonna go to Bill.
They're
Bill,
gonna look at their investigating.
I mean, I don't want to get into this
I need to ask the commissioner.
tennis match.
Deputy Commissioner?
Acting.
Commissioner.
He is the deputy.
What alarms me about this discussion is that this has happened. And that $6 million is gone. And what alarms me is, it sounds to me like we're saying, nothing has happened in the department since this was discovered. Now, my opinion would be that you've done something about it. Is that true?
Well, we've certainly done something about it by the fact that people have been charged for fraudulent activity. And since the awareness of a process that could be used to ferret out these type of activities has become known, we have an ongoing process now where we examine those files and look at cases that could possibly be involved in the sale of food stamps. So we have done something about it, and we are being proactive now that we know how to use the data from the state.
Is there any evidence of new cases appearing on the scene?
It would be premature for me to disclose what investigations are going on, but let it be known that, I mean, we are investigating situations, and as the evidence is built, we will refer to the district attorney for a decision as to how it should be handled.
Sam?
I saw last week apparently the resignation of the Office of Medicaid Inspector General. Is that something that's going to impact some of the cases that we have going in that arena as well?
No.
And my other question is, have we heard anything from the county attorney as to looking at this piece of legislation, proposed legislation?
No, we haven't. And I think that, that was part of some of the questions from last month. I have to be very honest with you. Whenever something like this comes up, there's various perspectives. You can look at it from the perspective that possibly people, because they no longer get these cash payments or whatever, that they don't have money to buy soap, they don't have money to purchase other items that they need. And I guess what they are looking at now in other places is possibly changing the way, I know in other parts of the country, changing the way in which benefits are given to people who require services from the various counties, okay? And so what is happening, especially now, I don't particularly care for this, I have to be honest, because of the condition that people are in right now. You already know that there are a lot of people that are laid off from work, okay? And then it adds to perception that people are now stealing. Not only are they poor, not only do they not have any money, now that, we want to put our foot on their necks and charge them with fraud and everything else. I would prefer to do this in such a way which demonstrates that the county not only is doing their job, but they have done their job. And speaking with Commissioner Colano in the past, there have been cases that have come before the Department of Social Services where we don't really know all the facts and everything that was involved, especially in regards to looking into cases of fraud. There are certain mandates and certain laws that have to be followed before things get out into the open. I still haven't heard all of the circumstances surrounding that case. I believe that what we should do is wait until we can get a report on the case itself. Then we can go from there and make a decision what we want to recommend to the Department of Social Services and the Commissioner or the Deputy Commissioner, right? That is what I would like to recommend. So I myself, I would prefer that we table this. I know we still have to vote on the motion that you did second, okay? So I want to do that, and then I am going to ask for it to be tabled, all right? We need to move on.
Motion's on the floor.
Okay, motion's on the floor. And your motion is that you want this to move out? Okay, all those in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed?
No.
Okay, all right. Motion goes down. Okay, can I get a motion
Now,
to
can I
table?
just say something? I want to hear from the county attorney. How many times do we step on ourselves by not paying attention to legal opinions? And I still don't have an appetite for things that are illegal.
The chairman was supposed to contact the county attorney for this meeting.
Yep, well, I want that feedback before I have a comfort zone.
I should be on the table, those
I
answers.
think that there is some merit, but right now, what I want to do is I want to get a motion to table.
About the $6 million.
Okay, I got a motion to table, can I get a second? I got a motion to table and a second, all those in favor, let me know.
Under discussion.
Okay, discussion, go ahead.
Now, with the table,
Yes.
and while it's table, what are we gonna do?
We're asking for, he just requested that we get some information from the county attorney.
Information like, huh?
An opinion of the county attorney as to the efficacy of going forward with this.
We need the county attorney, let me get this right. Sandy, let me get this right. We need the county attorney to give us, see if it's legal for us to ask the department to look for ways to stop illegal activities.
To look
That's not what.
To work
Okay.
this and give us guidance in doing that right.
But more from the county attorney. Well,
Please, I'm not gonna talk.
Okay, but you
With
know
all
what?
due respect,
I asked for, let me say
I
this.
know what you asked for, and I also got my opinion. I
No,
don't
no,
think,
no, no, no.
well, wherever we're talking about, this doesn't say none of that.
Okay, let me
This just
say
says,
this.
how about a plan to stop
Listen, we
how
can
people
explain what
stealing?
we're talking about.
Okay, I asked for a
We can
motion to
explain it.
table until we can get the information on this whole case from the Department of Social Services and what the district attorney's office has found. That's what I asked for.
And I'm
And
saying,
we haven't received,
And I'm
we
saying-
have not received that report yet.
that should be a separate thing. This
Yeah, it's
resolution
not
does
about
not
that
say
case,
that.
Madam
Now, I'm
Chair.
not,
It's
I
not
know
about
we're
the
hoes,
case.
we're not too smart
Not
up
at
there,
all.
but that ain't what this says.
No.
This ain't
No,
saying
no,
what's
it
going on with
isn't.
these cases. There's two different arguments here.
Okay, we got a motion
Wait
to table.
The
No,
second
wait.
whereas clause specifically cites the case. This is what this is all about.
Doesn't ask for information about that case.
But it does
The
cite.
whole resolution talks about the case.
It talks about
This is what
fraud
generated the
in the
resolution.
system and the need to have a plan to detect that and
What-
save the taxpayers.
When I was asking last month for a county attorney opinion, I was trying to ascertain what authority do we have as a county with respect to overseeing a federal program, which is the food stamp program. We don't necessarily have the authority to do certain things.
Then why do we have a fraud department in the middle of social services? We should get rid of those people.
No, we should not. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm
So you
saying
give the
is
authority,
certain.
of course you do.
You didn't answer.
No, we, no,
Not
no,
a county attorney.
I
They
didn't,
just arrested a bunch of
we
people
didn't
on
ask.
it.
Okay.
We did not ask the
Can
county
we,
attorney.
look, we have a motion on the floor.
What authority do we have with respect to overseeing the food stamp program? I think that's a legitimate question to ask.
They just indicted people.
He didn't give me, no,
Can we please stop? There's a motion.
there are
on the floor.
regulations, you know, I mean, come on.
There's a
I mean,
motion
they're
on the
working
floor.
on this.
There's a motion on the floor.
A lot of times we have to take the responsibility as leaders to make decisions about going to lawyers.
Wait.
We're sitting here for a
Okay,
reason.
then vote against it.
Yes, yeah,
I'm
there's a
saying vote
motion on
against
the.
that. I'm not voting against nothing, because I think everything's screwed up. Whatever we're talking about is not that resolution, so I'm not voting for nothing.
That's the resolution.
Yeah, but that resolution is what we're talking about.
There's a motion on the floor.
You wanna go to county
All those
attorney?
in favor
By
of
the time we
the
get
motion
paid
to
for
table?
county attorney,
Motion to
they'll
table.
find
Motion to
more
table,
places
okay.
around places.
I got a motion, and I got a second.
It's not why.
All those in favor of tabling, please.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Okay. Carries.